Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Folding Towels podcast. We are very happy to be joining you again for this episode. And it is going to be a very, very interesting episode because we are talking about, are you charging enough? We're talking about pricing.
This is going to be a big one again, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Do you remember what you were charging for massage when you first entered the industry?
I was charging like $20 just to cover my costs so that I could buy the oils and things. And then, this is about 10, 12 years ago, I was then charging after I stopped being $60 an hour. And then I gradually increased from there. So, like, I'd put my pricing up by a few dollars every year or a couple of years. Yeah, I gradually increased, David. And I know a lot of people don't do that. What about you? What were you doing?
Oh, I'm a bit ashamed to admit it, but when I first started charging for massage, it was $30 for an hour, and I was working a full-time job at that stage, so I had an income, and that money was essentially just my pocket money to do whatever I wanted to do with and buy things. And when I quit that job and made massage my full-time work, I entered the industry at $70 an hour, and I carry a bit of trauma from that because I thought I had a dedicated, loyal client base, many of whom just went, stuff that, I'm not paying $70. I can get cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that as we go along.
this is such a multi-layered topic. There is so much to cover. So, yeah, bear with us.
We see the question a lot in Facebook groups. Therapists often entering the industry, or maybe they've been working for someone else for a long time and they're about to start their own business, and they ask the question in the groups, what should I charge? And one of the response that really cheeses me off is when someone just comes back and just says, the standard fee for massage is $90. There is no standard.
Yes, this is such a popular question because people are worried and concerned. And why do you get cheesed off though, David?
It's complicated because just coming back to someone and saying the standard is $90, they're essentially saying you should charge $90 and that's all you should charge. And anything more or anything less is just silly. And what it doesn't take into account is, where is that person located? Maybe they've got higher on costs. Maybe they've got very specific qualifications. Maybe they work with a particular niche. Maybe they're in an area that can't afford $90 for a massage. Well, maybe they are. It just doesn't take into account the factors that are essential to consider
Mm.
when you're setting your prices. It's just a throwaway comment, and I think it's a bit of a limitation for our industry as well.
I do agree with you there. The answer probably should be a little bit more along the lines of the average is maybe $90 rather than saying, well, the standard is this, because yeah, you're right, there is no standard. Australia is such a wide country. We have so many varied areas. There's a huge amount of rural area as well as some very dense city side areas, beachside, everything. You cannot say that there is one size that fits all when we talk about pricing here. It absolutely does not fit. And even within our own demographic of the suburbs of Adelaide, where we both live, there are areas that you absolutely cannot charge much more than $100. And there are some areas that if you charge less than $100, it's just not going to work. It is what it is. And we have to take into account so many things, which is exactly what our topic is all about today.
Yeah, as a business owner, you need to be across exactly what your costs of operation are, and that will just be one of the factors that helps you to determine how much your service worth. Oh, that's the wrong word, isn't it? But how much you need to charge
Yeah.
before you even consider how much you want to charge.
Yeah. It's interesting when some people do the actual maths and see how much their expenses are, and they go, "Oh, I'm actually undercharging if you look at it from an expense point of view."
That's a rude shock when you figure that one out.
It's not fun.
So, hey, guess what? I just paid everyone today and I didn't pay myself.
Mm. Yes. Hello, every single person that is listening that is not paying themselves any superannuation. I know
Uh-oh.
you're out there.
There's a hot topic. We should probably bring on a financial advisor at some point as well.
Be talking about that later on, guys. Don't worry.
Hey, do you pay yourself super, Jackie?
No, I don't. No, I do periodically, like every now and then I'll get really good about it. And for a couple of weeks, I'll put, I don't know, like $20 away each week for a few weeks. And I go, oh, I'm so good. And then I'll just forget again, because it's not something that I have set up. So
Yeah. In talking with my accountant, I switched myself from just taking money from the business, which is quite a common thing for people to do
mm,
in small business, just taking money when it was available. He said, put yourself on payroll. So you pay yourself a regular amount every week, account for your PAYG and account for your superannuation. So I started doing that. And the first the first few months, I'm like, oh my God, look how much money that is going out that isn't even mine to keep. And that was a determinant in having to put my price up a little bit.
yeah, yeah. That is such a God. I don't even want to start talking about that because then the whole episode will be about that.
Now you've done a thing, haven't you, Jackie?
I did a thing. I did a thing. I'm actually a little bit proud of myself
I was
because
impressed.
honestly, maths is not my strong suit. Like I am generally a creative person. I'm not that great at the statistics and the maths, but today we're talking about statistics a little bit. So go me.
Woo!
Um, I did a really informal poll in one of the Australia-wide Facebook groups that we have here. It's actually, I should qualify, there are international people in this group. There's about 5,700 people in the group. And I did a poll about what do you charge, or rather, what are your clients paying you for an hour of massage? So, regardless of whether you actually do services for an hour or whether you have 30-minute, 45-minute, 90-minute, whatever it is, what is the average that you charge for that hour of time? And so out of the approximate 5,700 people in the group, we had 288 people respond, which I thought that was quite good, David.
That's
That's
an
quite a
excellent response.
yeah, it's quite a good number. It doesn't sound like a lot, but for a Facebook group, I thought it was pretty good. The poll was actually up for 6 days before I tallied the responses as well. And in the offered options, there was so I broke it down into $5 increments, so a range from $50 up to $140. And people can add in an option as well. Someone added in, or a few people added in the option of 150. And the responses were that, or the results, I should say, were that 75% of the people that responded were charging between $85 and $110 for an hour. So, regardless of everything else, that's what their clients were paying them for an hour. And very interestingly, 69% of the people that responded, their clients were paying them between $90 to $110 an hour. So yeah, I would say that the average is somewhere between 80 to 85 up to 110 because we had about 20%. Let me get my bit of paper. We had 20% of respondents charging $100, 17% charging $90, and 17% charging $110. And all of the other responses were like 2%, 4%, 5%. So quite low.
Mm.
Yeah, so make of that what you will. Yeah.
I guess that response of the standard fee for massage is $90 could actually be a little bit informed then. But I have to say this, and acknowledging that, well, there might be a few people who work in a franchise, but most of us are independent. But even a big business and franchise model like McDonald's doesn't charge the same price for the same menu items, even across different suburbs in the same state.
That actually does seem a touch weird to me because you would think somewhere like McDonald's and other services like that, that their pricing is uniform. So that does seem a touch weird.
They've got some menu items, the ones that they advertise heavily, like your $1 ice cream, as a standard price across all stores. But you look at the price of a burger or a meal, and they can vary by a few cents to tens of cents per meal.
Pricing is such a very, very interesting and sometimes complex subject.
What's another way that people might look at answering that question of how much should I charge?
Oh gosh. Well, I know a lot of people will say, I just look at what others near me are charging and I'll calculate an average from that.
Yeah, that can work. As long as you're not going hungry and you can pay your bills and stuff, it's not a bad way of calculating a price.
It's not, and I do think you have to take into account, as we mentioned, location. We are very location based as massage therapists. If we live in Adelaide, which we do, we can't go to Queensland and just start massaging and not know anything about what's going on up there. So we do have to take what's happening around us into account, but there are so many other factors as well. In that, you might have a very, very specialized niche that you only work with a very select group of people and they are happy to pay you. So
one of my most favorite massage therapists in the whole wide world is in Coolangatta in Queensland, so south of the Gold Coast. Last time I saw her was charging $70 for an hour of massage. And at the time, I'm like, you are so cheap. You should be charging more. You should be charging far more. I have paid more for substandard service, and your service is not substandard. It's excellent. And her experience, the quality of the massage, you need to be charging more. And she's like, but I don't need to charge anymore. And the majority of people who come to see me aren't like you. They're old people who live nearby. Okay.
wow.
If you know your market and you're happy, well, just be happy. Happiness is really important. At the end of the day, whatever you charge, you need to be able to sleep straight at night.
That is so true. That is such a good point. I guess the inverse to that is a lot of people will say, well, someone has to be the most expensive. Why not me?
Completely valid.
That's true. Someone has to be top of the range. Someone has to be at the bottom of the range, don't they, when it comes to averages?
I tend to find that when someone does a big price leap, they drag the whole industry up. Other people look at that pricing first of all, there's this jealousy of how can they be charging that much? And then when they're still in business a year later, oh, maybe I could charge that too. This is not a bad thing.
It's not. And, I have to say, David, that I have seen recently a lot of people really going from, so over the 10 or so years that I've been in business, there used to be such an issue with money, especially if you work in the healing industry. If you are any kind of healer, it was like, oh, you can't charge a lot. You can't charge a lot. You're taking advantage. You should basically be doing this because you love it.
Yes.
And now, which is fantastic, people are going, you know what? I deserve to be paid. I'm being compensated fairly for my time. I work really hard and I'm really good at what I do. And, so that mindset has shifted, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, and it depends as well if you're holding someone in treatment, or actually probably holding is an unfair term, but if you have someone who comes to see you every week, say, and you're expecting them to pay $150 a week, maybe you're in an area where that can be acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Versus someone who comes to see you for 2 or 3 treatments and that's all they need. 2 very different markets.
That is also so true, isn't it?
The other response we often see is that we're both remedial massage therapists, and there seems to be some animosity within our industry towards day spas. And look, day spas are a valid industry. They they exist for a reason, and the people who visit them seem to be very happy, and that is very important. And there's this jealousy of how is it that a day spa can charge so much when their staff aren't even qualified.
Yeah.
And my answer to that is, well, if you think that you can charge a higher fee, then charge that higher fee. And your
Yes.
existing and your new customers will soon let you know if you are worth that much.
I would like to talk about the word qualified there
Mm,
because we do know that a lot of staff that work in day spas are actually qualified. They just might not be remedial therapists. They might have other qualifications. And yes, a lot of beauty therapists work in day spas, but you are not going to a day spa to get a physio treatment.
this is very, very true. When you look at the day spas, they often are quite an exclusive type venue. There's a lot that goes into the experience. There's a lot of costs associated, particularly if they're in a shopping center environment, that charging a fee, a very good fee, is completely warranted.
I actually did a small amount of research about this as well, David, in preparing for writing for my book. And Endota actually started, I believe it was in the year 2000. A lot of people across Australia would know what Endota is. Very, very famous, I suppose, day spa, and they do have a lot of beauty therapists that work for them, and a lot of people that are either doing their Cert 4 massage qualification or their remedial qualification or something along those lines. But they only actually started. So I think their year of inception was 2000, and then they gradually rolled out across different states. So here in South Australia, they didn't start in the year 2000. So that it's not, it's only been less than 20 years, sorry, slightly more than 20 years that they've been around. And I remember when I started massaging, doing some research for my business plan component of my diploma, there were only about two or three day spas that type of thing in South Australia. There were only a couple, and they were very, very exclusive. So we have to also look at how things have changed and the public's perception of massage, because 20 years ago, it was not what it is now. So, again,
Absolutely.
a huge topic for another time, but yeah, something else to factor in.
And the clients that love you and know what you do will value your time. I've got clients who come to see me on a regular basis for chronic issues, the types of things that because of degeneration, those aches and pains won't go away. And they'll say their colleagues, I'm going for a massage today. Oh, that sounds so relaxing. Mm, you don't know what's about to happen to my body.
Yeah, that's so funny, isn't it?
Look, I think we need to make it clear that in this episode, we're not specifically going to talk about discounting.
We are not, but you can.
The dirty D word.
I have a love-hate relationship with this. And you mentioned before, David, that if you've got a client that's coming to see you like every week or every fortnight and they are so regular and they absolutely love you, I know for myself, I would want to give them a discount, and I would want to not necessarily reward them for coming to see me, but I want to say thank you. And I it's very different if you have somebody coming to see you every couple of months than if they're coming every week. So yeah, discounting is such a tough topic.
The frequent flyers are kind of essential for job security.
Yes, they are. They are. And we love them.
We do.
We do. Okay, guys. So you might want to grab some pen and paper if you're at home. And if you're in the car, you might want to come back to this bit because we're going to basically run through a few key factors that you might want to consider when setting prices for your massage services. The first one being all of your costs and expenses. And as we've mentioned before, this one can take people a little bit by surprise when they add up all of the things that you are paying for versus how much you actually are getting in each hour. So you want to calculate all your direct costs. So that includes your oils, your lotions, your towels, and all of your other supplies, whatever they may be. And that might include some things like admin stuff. Oh, the trip to Officeworks, people, I can't even get it out.
Stationery.
Stationery. Thank you, David. Yes. And then so that's directly related to you massaging, all of that sort of stuff. And then you've got your indirect costs, which are sometimes more stable costs, that you might know what they are each month before you pay them, like your rent, your utilities, marketing, and then other admin expenses, like if you pay for your accountant, if somebody does your bookkeeping, all that sort of stuff. And this can end up being a lot, and some of them can be hard to figure out. And we do see a lot of the time conversations about how do I know how much I'm spending on laundry? This is a huge thing. So you've really got to factor in a lot of stuff, make up a spreadsheet, and then do the maths.
Yeah, this is such an important thing, is that you do need to have a budget. We will have an episode coming up about how to prepare a budget with all the things that you need to think about and consider. You need to record those expenses, because if you don't know how much you're paying for something, one, you don't know if you're getting good value. But if you don't know where your money is going and you're crying poor, that's a very bad place to be in for business. So you've got to have a budget. Your budget's going to inform one of those steps of how much you charge.
And this one is such an important one for doing your tax as well.
Yeah, keep a record of everything.
Every single thing you buy, every single thing you do. And some people will record for a couple of months how many loads of laundry they're actually doing, how much they're spending on the laundry powder, all that sort of stuff. So you can be as detailed as you want with this sort of stuff, but it's super important to actually know, A, for your tax, and B, also so that you know, like David said, are you getting good cost analysis here?
One of the traps that I fell into, and I'll go into more detail when we do our budgeting episode, was my mobile phone plan. And it's one of those things of, I can go to Optus and I can get a business plan. I can charge the business, I can get a new phone. And they're like, oh, would you like to add an iPad? Yes, please. I'll have an iPad. And I come away with this bundle and I'm feeling really good. It's like, I've got all these things. And then the bills start coming in, and it's a 3-year contract. And it's like, oh, I'm going to be spending something like $2,500 a year for 3 years on shit I don't need.
Whoopsies. Yeah,
Tough lesson
I think
learned.
a lot of us have been there and done that.
Yep. It's tax deductible. Yeah. Just the tax component is tax deductible.
It doesn't mean that you should be paying for it, guys.
No.
But yeah, I've fallen into that trap too. It's terrible.
We are not alone. Now, the next thing that you need to consider in setting your prices, and we've already briefly touched on this, is your competitor analysis. And looking at what other therapists in your area are charging for a similar service. And I do mean a similar service. You need to be able to compare apples with apples. And then you need to consider, do you want to position yourself as a premium service? Kind of mid-range, ballpark, what are other people doing? Or are you trying to come in as being budget friendly? And there are specific cohorts of customers that will want a budget-friendly service. And if people are pricing them out of the market, well, you've got a great market to tap into with that option. But being the cheapest as your business plan, what's your business plan? I'm just going to be cheaper than everyone else. You need to think about that a little bit harder. But it is okay to be cheap, just as it's okay to be expensive.
Every single option is okay, but yes, there are so many different factors to this. And again, like you said, if you're renting a space in a shopping center, you cannot afford to charge $50 an hour. I'm pretty confident in that.
Not unless there's some money laundering or something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. So yeah, there is no one size fits all with this. You have to take so many different things into consideration.
I think it's worth mentioning that if you were to look at, first of all, the award if you were employed by someone, the award rate for a massage therapist, where the entry point is around that $30 an hour mark, and it goes up based on experience and years of service. Or if you looked at what is the average annual salary of a massage therapist, which is $55,000 to $65,000 per year, you need to be at least factoring in the pay that you want to be receiving as part of your costs and expenses right up front.
That's exactly right. And there is a lot of people, I think it was a few years ago, people were like, okay, well, work out what you want to get paid every year. Do you want to earn 50,000 a year? Do you want to earn 80,000 a year? Do you want to earn 100,000 a year? And then work back from there to earn that. How many massages do you have to do each month or each week? And what are you charging? So many different ways to figure this out. And I think working it out from multiple options, multiple points of view, sorry, is the best way to do it. Not just, well, I want to earn 100 grand a year. So how much do I have to work? Because then you're not taking into account your location, your target audience, or even how much you're paying for your rent. So
And on top of that, it's not just the business expenses. And let's say you're a single parent and massage is your only income, and then you need to pay maybe the rent or the mortgage of your house and education fees and those types of things. And being satisfied with 50 grand a year may not actually be acceptable. But say, as I said, when I was charging $30 an hour and I already had a full-time job, massage was just play money. Maybe you're happy with charging $30 an hour. And that allows you to buy bikes or car bits or something.
well, that is so true. You know, if
So it's-
if your partner already earns 100 grand a year and you are just sort of supplementing your income and you don't necessarily need to earn more than 30 or 40 or 50,000 a year, then it might not really matter. So yeah, the old how long is that piece of string?
it's so long. It's so long.
We have covered as well a little bit of the target market, understanding the demographics and preferences of your clients, of the people that you want to have coming to see you. Um, what price point are your ideal clients willing to pay for your services? Again, it
Mm,
could be that you are a super niche and your clients are happy to pay whatever you are asking. It does not matter. It might be that location is a huge factor for you, and your clients might not be willing to pay top dollar, but they're willing to pay a reasonable amount.
yeah.
So this is something that you really have to take into account, I think, because we are location based. And I know some people, some marketing gurus will say, you know what, if you're good, people will travel. That's true to a degree. And I think with the rising cost of living that we're having, the cost of petrol going up, and we just had a huge jump in the cost of petrol very recently. And I think that's going to become much more common. I think we really need to be careful about saying that people will travel. Like if they love you, they'll travel, because it might not be true.
Yeah. And where we are in Adelaide, if you ask me to go south of the city, I'd just say no. What, you want me
Both
to
of
cross the city, get stuff?
both of us live north, and we both agree. Like south to me
Careful,
is,
I live northeast.
and I live northwest. So you actually live in the more posh area.
I'm in the area that has one of the highest rates of mortgage stress right now.
Yeah, yeah. I live in a rental suburb though.
Yeah. Hey, quick question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the most you've ever paid for a massage?
Um, it's probably around $150 for a 90-minute appointment, I think. Be
Hmm.
around that. Like, I don't think I've paid more than about 110 to 120 for an hour. What about you?
Um, I'm kind of ashamed to, actually, no, I'm not. I'm surprised to say it. So, because times have changed and budgets have changed, and now we've got children and mortgages and things. So before children and mortgages, I was on a, I've said in previous episodes, I used to work for the government. So I was on a conference, and the hotel that I was staying in had a day spa in it. So off duty, I think it was like 8 o'clock at night. At a whim, I decided that I would book a massage, and I've gone to the day spa in the hotel, and I paid, I think it was $270 for the massage. Just to be
Oh, wow.
clear, that wasn't paid by the taxpayer, that was paid from my own salary. I wasn't one of those dodgy people. 270
Okay, that's a
bucks.
lot.
It was a lot. And I have to say, because it was a day spa within quite a very nice hotel on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
It was one of the most fabulous massages I've ever had in my life. But would I pay that regularly? The answer is no.
Wow. That's quite a bit, David. That's actually more than I thought you were going to say. No,
Mortgages make people hungry and you stop doing
yes.
stuff.
Yes, they do. And
Yeah.
I have to say, I think that is the perfect example of the whole oh gosh, what's the right word? But that intersection of demographic and location,
Mm.
because so you were on the Gold Coast or thereabouts at that time?
Yeah. In a seven-star
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah. So if you are, I know, little old Adelaide, I mean, we do get tourism here, but people are not coming here specifically for massage, or maybe they are, I don't know. But
You'd be
in
surprised.
place, well, maybe they are. Like, come on, tell me if you are listening to this and that's your thing here in Adelaide, then I would love to know who you are because that's really interesting to me. But I know if you are over on the East Coast, Sydney, and especially in the Gold Coast area, the Sunshine Coast, where there is tons of tourism, um, then that is something that you probably are factoring in. Through peak times, we can charge a little bit more. And maybe through the off season, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. That's not something I've ever actually considered. Um, yeah, that's super interesting.
When setting your prices, you do need to think about your experience. And someone with 1 year's experience versus someone with 20 years experience. This is not taking into account somebody's confidence and say straight off the bat, hey, I'm worth this. This is in any workplace, someone with experience will receive a higher salary. That's just a thing. Whether you go to see a mechanic, whether you go to see an accountant, whether you go to see the senior or the principal physiotherapist across industries, people with experience get paid more and charge more. That's just a thing. So if you have experience, you probably should be charging a higher price than when you enter the industry.
I think I'm not sure if it's a quote or a meme or something about the expert finally being called in after 20 people have tried to fix a computer problem or something. And the expert with, he's retired and he's had 30 or 40 years of experience, and he comes in and he fixes the problem in 5 minutes and he charges like $1,000 or whatever the amount was to fix the thing for 5 minutes work. And the point of the meme or the quote or the story is not that he's able to charge that much money, but the fact that you are actually paying for that experience. You're not paying for the 5 minutes of work that he did. You're paying for the experience. So I do love this analogy of, the more information that you have, the more knowledge and training and qualifications that you have. Yes, absolutely, that should be paid for, reflected well in how much you're charging or how much you're getting paid. This is such a huge thing. I really love this.
And with that, you need to be able to back it up with results.
That's the thing. Yes, you have that experience, so you know what the problems are, you know what the issues are, and you can, for want of any better term, fix them.
Mm.
You can get those results. Yeah. So we've also got to talk about the length of treatment and any special skills that we may have. So, you may offer a range of massage options at different price points. I would hope that if you're only doing a 30-minute massage, you're charging a little bit less than if you're doing an hour appointment and, all of those variations. Um, Maybe, I don't know, do other therapists say, well, I'm only doing an hour? I don't know how much of a thing this is, or I'm only doing an hour. I'm not going to do a 30-minute appointment, or I'm not doing 45 minutes, or I'm
I
not
think
doing
it
90
depends on your
minutes.
treatment style and what people are coming in for. And if someone only wants you to work on, say, their knee, then 30 minutes is probably enough. Or maybe you've got
Yeah.
a particular treatment style that you can get results rapidly, then yeah, 30 minutes, absolutely.
If you do offer something that does take a long time, for instance, hot stones where you need to clean your equipment between appointments, then you obviously need to factor that into your budget. You might need to charge a little bit more. I think generally people do charge a touch more for hot stone treatments. But definitely, if you have different length sessions, your shorter sessions definitely need to be cheaper than your longer ones. That's pretty obvious, though.
Yeah. And if you are in a niche where maybe you have to do lots of reporting, so you might be writing up reports for I don't know, say work cover or something along those lines, and they can take um, a long time. Or maybe you've got an arrangement where you refer clients to and from other health professionals, and that requires lots of documentation post treatment. That needs to be factored into your time as well. It's all well and good to say, I charge $90 for an hour, but then suddenly you've spent 2.5 hours on this person. Did you really charge $90 for an hour, or did you only charge 40?
This is so true. And I think a lot of people, when they first start out in massage, they don't understand that we actually do, the most of us, we really do need to spend a lot of time doing our client notes. Okay, a lot of time, maybe not, but there is some of us will spend longer than others, as you pointed out, but we do have to spend, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes, doing client notes after each client. And that does have to be factored in because you're doing it somewhere and it is still part of treating that client. So yeah, you're
Mm.
exactly right, David.
Yeah, during the three years of hypersensitivity that we've just had, where um, moving to say a half-hour break in between clients was quite common, so you could clean and ventilate the space and all those types of things. Some therapists just said, "No, I'll just wear that," and others like, "Hell no! I've just dropped my capacity by 2 or 3 people in a day. I need to put my price up to account for that."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you have lots of
Yeah.
prep work to do before someone comes in or after, if you're very diligent about some things and there's gaps in between, you do need to reflect that in your price. Otherwise, yeah, you could be earning less than minimum income, minimum wage very, very quickly.
Yes. So many things to consider.
Mm. Well, let's look at location.
Ooh, location, location, location.
There are
Mm,
areas where if someone is buying something, they are prepared to pay more. If you are in a holiday destination with a captive audience, someone may be prepared to pay more. If you are in a suburb that has very high rent, you probably need to charge more. If you are in an area that has a very low socioeconomic income, and I probably would say that someone whose primary focus is on survival probably doesn't have massage very high on their agenda, unless it is absolutely critical for maybe they need to get treatment to do their job. Someone whose budget is so damn tight, and I just need to put food on the table, I just need to pay my rent, I just need to pay school fees, probably isn't going to pay for massage, irrespective of how cheap you make it. But you do have areas where you just know that if I were to charge an exclusive rate out here, I'm just not going to get anyone.
Yeah, again, it's so layered. How long is that piece of string? We have to definitely take location into account here because we are location based, as we've already mentioned. And I know that in the massage groups, when people are working in rural areas, for example, they will often talk about how some people find it quite difficult because they've only got a certain amount of population. They can't charge tons because so some rural areas are more economically challenged. People don't have a lot of money to spend on the luxury, air quotes there, of massage. And this is why the more exclusive posh suburbs in the capital cities will often charge a lot more than what you will find out in the regional areas.
Let's have a think about seasonal demand as well. And this is probably more relevant to those who are located in a holiday destination. But the demand for massage service might fluctuate throughout the year, and you might adjust your price accordingly. And you'll see this, say, in hotels, for example, where they know they've got quiet periods. And rather than sacking staff and trying to rehire for a busy period, which isn't good for staff loyalty, they will offer lower rates just so they are full or they're sustainable during those quiet times. And if you are in, say, a holiday destination and you might be offering more of a relaxation service rather than a therapeutic pain and injury focused service, then having a price point that attracts the locals or an offer which specifically attracts locals might be a good thing for you. And particularly if you are employing other therapists in your business.
Yeah, so much to consider. Now, we did say that we're not going to talk about discounting.
We've changed the words there, haven't we?
We're talking about offering packages or membership plans, and there are quite a few therapists, I would imagine, that do offer, I guess, a membership plan for their clients where it might be, every fifth or 10th massage might be half price or a freebie or something like that. Which there's absolutely no reason why you can't do that. There really isn't a reason that you can't do it. If your clients want that sort of thing, if you work in the right area, we do, however, have to be careful when we are offering therapeutic treatment, when we are pain and injury focused, and our clients are claiming with their health funds, because it can be a breach of their policy to offer any discount. And I think we have this conversation sometimes in the groups about if you charge your clients that claim full price, and the ones that don't have health fund, you can offer them a discount. There's some ethical concerns
That's a
around
big
doing
no-no.
this.
Yeah. One of the things, so because I asked some questions about this a long time ago, because at the time I was trying to offer a pack of 10 massages that someone could use. Well, once someone has given you the money, really, there should be no time frame. If you consider a gift voucher, for example, they've got at least 3 years to claim that gift voucher. But say a pack of 10 massages. And when I was getting some advice around this, they were saying for remedial style treatments, they could be viewed as coercion and holding someone into treatment for longer than is absolutely necessary. And I think, I was thinking chronic pain, where someone relies on regular treatment for their survival. But they're saying, oh no, you get someone who's just got an injury and you help them in 2 sessions. What do they do with the other 8 massages? So they can come back whenever they want. But from that health fund view, they just said, no, you might actually guilt someone into coming for longer than is absolutely necessary. And as an ethical practitioner, I'm not even thinking about that. However, you do see plenty of stories, and there are There are health practices that make their clients sign contracts of, I can help you, but it's going to take a year. So you're going to come and see me for a year. And if you don't come back in that time, I'm going to keep on charging you for a year. And that's just evil.
Wow. Okay. Who's doing that?
I won't mention any names, but
Oh my
it is a thing.
goodness. Wow, okay. Isn't that funny how you said, we're both of us, I think, fairly on top of some of the ethics around all of this stuff, but you mentioned like you weren't even really thinking about that. Like that's such an interesting thing. Yeah.
I
I
don't think
know.
about willingly breaking the law.
No, no, of course not. I'm not saying that that you
But some
oh,
people do.
yeah, yeah. It is interesting because we might go into something like a membership discount quite, thinking, oh my gosh, I can really help my client, and they might have already been coming to see us every month for, 2 or 3 years. We know they're going to come back. They love us.
They might
And
even
then they've got it.
ask.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they've got an injury and we're like, oh yes, let's sort this out for you. It's going to be great. And look, because you're coming so often, I'm going to give you this discount. But the health funds don't necessarily see it that way. And if so, basically, if this is really important to you, if keeping your health fund status is something that you really want. And of course, there are clients that have, over the last few years in particular, actually said, look, you know what, therapists, not clients, they've gone, I actually don't want to be a part of the health fund situation. So they've opted out of that. Like, that's fine. Then you can go and do membership plans and deals, package deals with your clients where it's buy five and pay, 20% less or whatever. That's totally cool. But for remedial therapists that actually do a lot of health fund reporting and see people for pain and injury, this is definitely something that we need to really take into account. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Let's talk about inflation. We are in the time of inflation right now.
yeah, I don't want to, David. No, pass.
Well, yeah, you see it pop up frequently in the massage groups where someone asks about pricing and someone says, I've been charging this rate for 10 years. I've never put my price up. Wow, you've never put your
Yeah.
price up. Obviously, they're happy charging what they're happy, or maybe they're not happy. They just feel guilty about putting their price up. That's a bad thing, being guilted into your price. Maybe there's no need for them to put their price up, but hey, our clients expect price increases. Our costs of doing business do go up. And if you're not considering, this comes back to your budget, if you're not considering your own price escalations of things that you have to pay for, then yeah, you need to, and you need to put your price up accordingly.
I kind of have a bit of a working theory around this. I've definitely shared it with a couple of people, but probably not everyone. But my theory kind of is whether you're doing it every 6 months, every 12 months, or every 18 months or 2 years, I think you should probably put your price up even by a couple of dollars, even if you're not doing all of the math to figure out whether that's covering your costs or not. I think if you're doing even a $2 or $3 increase, every 12 months, it's something. And then your clients are expecting that every 12 months you're putting your price up, even if it's by $2. And then say every 5 years or so, you can do a bigger price increase by
An
$10
adjustment.
or yes, an adjustment so that you don't want to have to sit down every single 12 months and go, okay, what is this? What is that? And figure
Mm.
it out. We don't always have time for that.
Yeah,
But
you make it a
doing it
habit.
at least, yeah, doing at least a small increase at every 12 months sets the signal for your clients. Okay, we're just going to do a teeny tiny increase. That's all. And then yeah, every 5 or 6 years you can actually figure out the figures and instead of doing $2 that year, you might do $10 and then you're back on track. So that might not work for everyone, but I think it's kind of a good sort of rule of thumb to have that, okay, well, I might need to increase a little more than I am, And I remember back when I was at massage school, one of our teachers, who I don't know if he's listening to this, but he might recognize the story. He was absolutely fantastic, very skilled, very knowledgeable. He'd been working in the industry back then, a decade ago, about 20 years already, and very wonderful therapist. And at the time, he told us that he was charging about $70 an hour. And I remember thinking, and we told him as well, we're like, oh, that doesn't sound like enough. All of us, we're not even actual therapists yet, and we're telling our massage instructor, please raise your prices. But yeah, and he hadn't raised his prices for a number of years. So yeah, kind of from that, I've sort of like, I think we do need to take that. Every year things do cost a little bit more, and we need to factor that in for sure.
Yeah, and as we move on to our last point as well, I find that so many massage therapists are money shy. Like
Mm.
that there is a real passion for the industry, and it feels wrong to be charging, except that it's your job and you need to make money so you can pay yourself a living wage. Hush, hush. Secret.
You can't pay your rent on love.
Why not?
You cannot pay your rent on love of your job.
So the final point here is that you need to budget for a surplus, and this comes back to budgeting. I've used the word surplus because profit's kind of a dirty word. So you need to budget for a surplus, and that surplus money is your savings. It's your rainy day fund. You get out of jail free money. It's the money which is available so that you can travel and to attend training or to buy new equipment like that new table you've been lusting after. Or maybe it's so that you can do the things outside of work that you really want to do, and you feel resentful that you can't do them because you can't afford to. So you need to budget for that surplus, and you need to ensure that your pricing covers your costs so that you do have a reasonable profit at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can wing it for a very short time, but honestly, we do need to either sit down with our accountant or a bookkeeper, figure some of this stuff out as we're starting out. Or if you've been in massage for a while and you haven't done that already, maybe now's the time to do it. And I also would like to mention there's a book, and it's a whole philosophy, I guess, called Profit First, which is such a great read for us creatives because we often pay ourselves way last, very down the bottom of the list, if at all. I actually want to find out how many people in our industry actually pay themselves superannuation because it's probably like 5% or something ridiculous.
Not just unique to our industry, but anyone who's self-employed.
I think we also need to really listen to feedback from our clients. If your clients are telling you, hey, like I think you might not be charging enough, then maybe you need to look at some of those costs and maybe put your pricing up just a little bit. If your clients, when you're talking to them about raising your price and saying, hey, look, I'm thinking about putting my pricing up for the next calendar year or the next financial year, and they're absolutely going, oh, geez, no, don't do that. Then yeah, have a bit of a look at what you're charging, I think. Although I would hope that none of your clients are doing that, honestly. I'd hope that they would value you enough to go, yes, I think you should.
We have covered a lot today, Jackie.
Yes, we have. This has been such a lot.
Whichever platform you are listening on, it would be a fantastic thing if you could subscribe to this podcast so that you never miss an episode. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it would mean ever so much if you could leave us a rating and or a review. Please look out for us also on Facebook. We have a little page there, and on Instagram as well, where you can ask questions or perhaps leave us some feedback. It would be great if you would also leave us a review there. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.